Hello everyone, welcome to our channel Fusion Session. I hope you all are doing great. Okay, so let's start our video. Today we will check how to disable the HA cluster. So in this video I will demonstrate you where I have two firewalls, primary which is node 1 and the secondary which is node 2, and in this HA cluster I have already configured the HA in active passive mode. So in node 1 you can see that one of these firewalls acting as a primary and the other one is auxiliary firewall, and the same thing you can check it on the auxiliary firewall where node 2 is acting as auxiliary and node 1 is acting as primary. So the main purpose of disabling this HA is sometimes we have already configured our firewalls in Sophos Central, and sometimes the device becomes faulty, so where the requirement is just to disable the HA before making the replacement device in the production. So in those scenarios the requirement is just to disable the HA first. So what things or parameters or points we need to consider in our mind before disabling HA? That is, here you can see that we have two firewalls, and on the primary we are getting three options and one of them is disable HA, and same those options you are getting in the auxiliary firewall. So now the question arises, if we are having the same options on both the units, then from where to disable the HA? Okay, though, so the recommendation is always disable the HA through the primary firewall, and the reason is that if you will disable the HA through primary firewall, it will actually disable it. First, it will reset the configuration on the auxiliary firewall, except its peer administration IP address and the dedicated IP address. The reason is, once the auxiliary firewall configuration has been reset, so these two IPs would remain as it is, because you can access these or your auxiliary firewall using this IP address. Otherwise, you don't have any interfaces configuration, because after disabling the HA, everything would be cleared in terms of interface configuration. So that is why whenever you will disable the HA from the primary unit, only these two interfaces configuration, peer admin IP and the dedicated peer IP, would remain as it is, and the rest of the configuration would be deleted. And the second thing is, what will happen if we will disable the HA through the auxiliary firewall? Uh, in this case, the auxiliary firewall will clear the configuration except the interfaces one. But the problem here is that the main primary firewall, which is managing the HA cluster, is this one, the node 1. If you will disable the HA on the auxiliary unit, obviously it would be it would be disabled on this one, but the primary unit has no information to disable it, right? So that is why it is recommended to disable the HA unit always from the primary unit. So now we are going to disable it on the primary unit, and let's see what happens on this case. Okay, so you will get this prompt: the firewall turns off HA on both the devices. It deletes the auxiliary device configuration and only retain the IP address of the dedicated HA link and the peer admin port. So this is the prompt that I discussed earlier. So we are just gonna turn off this HA on the primary unit. And here you can see that I have already started the ping for both these two IPs. 2.100 belongs to primary and 2.200 belongs to auxiliary unit. So we can also track them. Okay, so here you can notice that as soon as we disable the HA on the 2.100 IP, we just got one or two RTOs, and then after starting getting the ping response. But on the auxiliary firewall, where its IP is 2.200, we are getting the request timeout. So it means as soon as we disable the HA on the primary unit, it first it reset the configuration on the auxiliary one, and then after we can see the request timeout messages as a result. And apart from that, you can also notice that here we have the high availability configuration, where it is again asking for the initial device role, like what role can we define on this firewall. So it means that the HA has been successfully disabled on this primary unit. And if we will check the status on this node 2, it may not be accessible because currently it is rebooting, because it has reset now. Okay, so here you can notice that we started getting the ping response from 2.200. It means it has been successfully reset and our HA has already been disabled. Okay, now let's try to access this 2.200. I think it gonna takes a few minutes, so we will have to wait. So once we get the response from 2.200 IP, then we will check its status whether it is showing any HA configuration or not. But here you can see that we are continuously getting the ping response from 2.100 and 2.200 IP addresses. And here you can also notice that earlier it was showing the status as node 1, then primary, but now it is only showing the status as primary. Let's navigate back to system services. Okay, now our auxiliary firewall having 2.200 IP address is accessible. Now just try to log in. Now our 2.200 firewall, that is auxiliary, is accessible. So let's log in using its credentials. Let's check its status under the system services. Okay, so here you can also notice that HA has been successfully disabled on this auxiliary unit. So in this way we can disable the HA. For more information, I will also share the document, what points we need to consider when we are planning to disable the HA. So based on that, you can disable the HA. I hope you found this video helpful. In case if you have any queries in this regard, just drop a comment or query in the comment section. And stay tuned for the next video. Till then, take care of self. Have a great day. Goodbye.